They've been described as the lost generation, and today the unemployment figures confirm that 16 to 24-year-olds have borne the brunt of the economic impact of the coronavirus pandemic. Employment amongst young people fell by 153,000 in just 3 months. Well, our reporter Louise Hosey joins us now from Aberdeen with more. Louise, what's the latest?
Yes, well, these figures show that the effects of COVID-19 on the jobs market really have hit young people the hardest over the past couple of months. UK-wide, those aged 16 to 24 suffered the largest drop in employment, and this all comes amidst warnings that we're on the brink of a youth unemployment crisis. Well, I've been speaking to a number of young people. They've been telling me they're extremely worried about their futures. Here are their stories.
I'd made so many sacrifices to come out of university with the grades that I'd gotten, and I worked really hard, and it felt so disappointing to know that I'm here and I don't know what on earth is happening anymore with my life.
As a recent graduate with a first-class degree in politics, when it came to looking for work, Ellie had hoped the world would be her oyster. But that hasn't been the case for the 23-year-old from Glasgow.
I'd go on different websites and it would say, sorry, we're not hiring, we have no vacancies, when usually as a graduate with a great degree from a top university, I shouldn't have any problem with finding a job, but there was just nothing, no one was hiring. It wasn't even that I wasn't good enough, it's just that they weren't even accepting anything.
With no other option, Ellie has taken on more student loans to complete a master's degree. She's continuing to rely on her family for financial support.
Myself and my generation have been dealt a really tough card. It's so difficult to know what lies ahead. I have absolutely no idea, and that feeling is really scary. I can only describe it as feeling lost.
In Dundee, school leaver Alan is also wondering what the future will bring. Since his college course in painting and decorating was put on hold, he's been coming to this charity, which motivates young people and helps them find employment opportunities.
I would apply for maybe 10, 15 jobs every 3-4 days maybe, just to try get at least a little bit of luck. I've had emails back saying like, due to experience it's unavailable, the space has been taken up by someone else. It's frustrating knowing that if nowhere's willing to give out experience, then I'm not going to be able to gain any experience.
Obviously over lockdown. The 17-year-old says the situation is already affecting his mental health.
Waking up in the morning and having a job to go to is tough. There's nothing that can really be done to keep myself occupied or keep myself busy. With the job it would be so much easier as well, keeping with a headspace and so much better.
Back in Glasgow, Angus is also desperate to find work. After both his job and internship fell through, the graduate widened his search to include other sectors, from the armed forces to retail.
I went along to my local supermarket and had it in my CV at the very, very start of lockdown. But unfortunately, by the time I got there, 100 other people already had as well.
Angus is now on universal credit while he continues to look for work. Without the rent and living allowance, he would be unable to pay his bills.
Pretty much been applying for every job under the sun. And some get a little bit further, some go to interviews, sometimes they get offered, but then it gets retracted, but it's continuously up in the air.
Ellie, Alan and Angus all say they're trying to remain positive about their job prospects, but feel they're facing an uphill battle.
There is nothing that I can do other than have that little bit of luck.
I'm just going to have to find a way of managing this and coping with this new sort of normal that we're in, but it's not the most optimistic time. But what can you do?
I can't see the job market recovering anytime soon, and I think that the legacy of what has happened is going to follow us for decades.
Well, joining me is Suzanne Mann, a district manager at the Job Centre. Suzanne, what's the overall situation at job centres at the moment?
So now we're starting to get to a position where we're starting to open our doors and welcome a lot more customers into the job centre. Until now it's been very much responding to that massive influx to new claims and supporting people through a digital and telephony service onto universal credit. But now with our doors open, we're starting to see a lot more people in the job centre and often more personalised service.
And we've been hearing there from some people who say they find themselves in a totally hopeless situation. What schemes and help is available for them?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a difficult time for everyone right now, but we are running our sort of flagship scheme as the Kickstart scheme right now. And this is a government funded scheme where we're encouraging employers to work with us to provide placements for people so that people who are trying to look for employment get the opportunity to have a 6-month funded placement where they can gain experience, which will then give them good experience into that first steps into the world of employment.
And of course, these figures do show that the worst may be yet to come. What can people do, those who might fear that when furlough comes to an end, they'll find themselves unemployed?
So there's a number of websites that you can go to for advice. There's gov.uk. There is also our new job help, which gives a lot of information for customers on how to prepare for new employment, but also advise them of what vacancies are available. And DWP themselves are looking to double their work coach resource, so we're going to be advertising work coach vacancies. That advert becomes live tomorrow across the whole of Scotland in different stages, and we will be looking for recruitment. So we'll be advising people to have a look on the Civil Service Jobs website for those vacancies.
Suzanne, thank you for joining us on the STV News at 6. Well, of course, these figures come in the shadow of the winding up of the job retention scheme that's due to end in October. But of course, the true extent of job losses won't be known until the end of the year.